Welcome to the podcast where we take a deep dive into the stories behind construction business leaders. We will share how they got started, how they found success, and the lessons learned along the way. I'm your host, Eric Fortenberry. Welcome to Builder Stories. All right, welcome back, everybody. Today we have a very special, very unique Builder Stories episode. I'm here in Seattle, Washington with Felipe Freig. Felipe is with Versa Homes as well as now Versa Method Coaching. Really excited to have you here, Felipe. We did this podcast back in 2023.
Yeah,
I think you're actually number 20
Yeah.
that came on the podcast. So really excited to have a follow-up here because you've started to do some really interesting things beyond just Versa Homes and the luxury home builds. You're now helping contractors with their businesses.
We're doing that. We started coaching contractors. You know, we're doing well. We kind of unlocked the way to do things, and we want to share it. We want to teach people how to do it. We want to make sure all contractors are being profitable, running a good business, and not being stressed out.
Yeah. Well, look, let's take a little stroll while we talk.
Let's do it.
So before we get into that, though, why don't you give us a little bit of an update? I mean, in the last several years, I've seen the work that you've done. It's just outstanding, man.
Thanks,
really impressed. Why don't you tell us, give us a little update on the business. How's Versa Homes been?
Man, Versa Homes been crazy. It's been growing every year. We're building some crazy homes, and I don't even know how we get to do those things, I think it's the right place and the right time. Every contractor that does well will get an opportunity to build multi-million-dollar homes like we do right now, and a lot of it has to do with their systems. We do homes for executives and entrepreneurs, And what they want is organization. They run a business, they know how a business should be ran, and when they look at our background and our back office, they go, this is the guy. And a lot of that has to do with job tread, daily logs, communication, all that cool stuff that we implemented. Clients are talking about it after we're done. They say, hey, those guys were really good. They talk to us every day. They sent us photos and pictures. Everything was clear, and that helps your growth.
Yeah. Have you, obviously implementing, and really getting software dialed in for your business. It's a lot of people just want that easy button. They want it, just done for you overnight. But you've spent years really refining your processes, and you've got a phenomenal team in place. Can you tell us a little bit, and maybe, what advice would you give to others, as well? What has worked for you in terms of really getting this dialed in to the point where you're now able to step back and now doing something else while your business is continuing to thrive?
Well, as you know, like yourself, when you're running a business, you have to start thinking like a leader and a business owner, not a worker.
Yeah.
And that's what's helped me huge. I'm able to spend time and implement all these things that I want to do for my company so that we have the systems in place to satisfy the needs of a customer, right? So if you step back and you go, hey, I know I'm a drywaller, so if I start a business and I'm going to go drywall, that's not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I know the drywall industry. That's great. Now I have the knowledge. Now I need to understand how to run a business. And when I did that, it changed everything for me. It started to go from me being hands-on and dealing with everything to now stepping back. As you know, I'm able to coach people because I got free time.
Yeah.
Right? My team is all dialed up. Our SOPs are in place. Our softwares are working for us, right? Which is crazy.
Yep.
I always say softwares like JobTread is like having another project manager that you're not really paying that $200,000 a year wage, right? Yeah. So if you can leverage softwares like JobTread and use AI mixed with it, which I know there's some cool things coming up with JobTread with that, then you have a great team.
For sure.
And then it frees you up to start thinking about other things that you can do with your company, like coaching or your Instagram, and going wide so that you have the opportunity to do crazy things, right?
So I'm curious, was there a point where you knew that you needed to go help other builders? Did you see, something, or was it through, a relationship with some other builder that you saw them struggling, that you were just man, there is a better way, and I feel compelled to go help people?
So I've always been a bit of an innovator in my industry. I always want to push go above and beyond of what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
What that created was everyone asking me, hey, can I pick your brain? I did that for years. Like I literally went for lunch, took the guys for lunch. They asked me questions. We ended lunch. See you later. You don't even know if they're doing well or not, right? And every week I was getting somebody asking me for lunch. I still do. And I said, hey, why don't I just start coaching?
Yeah.
It really feels like people are needing help. If they're reaching out to me to get help, there's got to be a way of doing this better. So I reached out to my coach and I said, hey, I want to coach. He goes, well, here's the framework. I started it and so far it's going great.
That's awesome, man. When you see what all these contractors are, you know, how they're building their business, you know, what they're using, you know, what their challenges are, like, do you see a lot of the same, like, similar challenges, or do you see very unique situations with every builder?
It's all the same.
Yeah.
It's all the same. Builders keeping everything in their head and just telling people what to do instead of showing them what to do, right? You have to remember, and you know this because you built a great team, you build the people and they build your business. The problem that contractors are having is that they're just doing everything themselves.
Yeah.
And they're delegating and not teaching, right? So that keeps them stuck. They're the go-to person for every question and answer. So if they're the go-to person for every question and answer, how can they expand and have time for their families and have time to research a bit more about how to run your construction company better, find software that works, you know, like all these kind of things that your business needs.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting how many people I meet, like literally every day, every week, like they're working hard, they're hustling, but they don't realize that like they're just doing the same thing over and over, but like they're expecting one day to wake up and like the profit's just gonna like fall out of the sky into their lap because like they put in the work. And you know, I mean, hard work is important, but like, man, you gotta be smart and you gotta set yourself up with the right tools.
Why do you think people are saying this all the time? Work smart, not hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Those type of cliche type of comments are actually there for a reason. All these guys are hard workers. They're super hard workers, and they work day and night. They come home, they barely have dinner, and they go into invoicing or they go into quoting, and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is running a company.
Yeah.
Right? You got to have your systems in place, train well, and trust your people to build your company. You build your people, they build your company.
Yeah. You know, I know that you spent a lot of time, you know, looking at the different ways that you can price a job, and there's, you know, pros and cons to all of them.
100%.
You know, why don't you tell us a little bit about, you know, what's your recommended method for selling a construction project?
You know, a lot of people say this. Transparency is such a big word in the construction industry. I'm transparent. We are transparent. That is the biggest crock of poop that you can tell somebody. I'll tell you why. People don't really want transparency. And what I mean about that is this. When cost-plus contractors are showing all their numbers, they call that transparency. They don't know that what they're doing is they're confusing the client.
Yeah.
And they're not being transparent because the cost-plus doesn't give them an end result. So that's not transparency. So the way that I do things is I'm a big advocate for fixed price, telling the client exactly what it's going to cost by doing all the work up front. And it is hard work. But once you get there and they understand the numbers, now you're being transparent with your client. If you say the home's going to cost you $3,452,000, hey, that's what it's going to cost you. And you're not going to go over that. That's transparency. Not opening up the books, telling them, here's your numbers, letting them choose whoever they want to hire, 3 quotes.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, they had a $3 million budget and they ended up at $4 million. How transparent is that?
Yeah.
So I quickly figured that out and I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to do fixed price. And I know it takes a lot more work in the front end, but in the back end, when you start building, I am at peace building. I'm focused on the build, and the client just gets to watch and enjoy the build.
So you're saying that they don't have to open up their book. They don't have to show every single trade and every line item and all the details?
Here it is. What did you just buy? You just told me in the car you bought something you couldn't find. You finally found it.
I got a Model S.
Okay.
2026 brand new Model S that Tesla told me I was not going to be able to buy.
Got it. Now let me ask you a question. When you bought it, did you ask him how much the technician got paid to put that engine in?
No.
Did you ask him how much the headlights were?
No, I did not.
What about the paint job?
No, I did not ask that either.
So you shop like this every day.
Yeah.
Why, as builders, are we not giving the same value to the client where they look at the product, they go, that's the fair price that I want to pay, and I'm going to buy it?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, man. I guess I would say that I innately trust Tesla has put together a great product, and
there you go.
I want it to be easy. I don't actually want to worry about all the various costs and everything that went into it. Like I just want the car to show up.
That's the way it is. Do you not want your home to show up?
Yeah, that would be
after you
good.
designed it?
Yeah,
it would be good. And do you want to pay more for your home after you decided, or do you want to pay the price that they told you at the beginning?
I want to know what it's going to cost going into the project.
There you go. Then you can relax. You can set your finances, and away you go.
So why do you think so many builders who, especially I see this especially for larger projects, like
Yep.
why are they choosing the cost plus model?
It is very simple. Cost plus will give the client a budget. It's not accurate. It's a budget. That means whatever it costs you plus our fees is what the price is. Well, I need a budget. Sure, I'll give you a budget, and a budget is not a price. You have to understand that.
Yeah.
A price is way different than a budget. So it allows the contractor to remove risk from themselves and put it all in the client. Now, if you hired a contractor, aren't they not the professionals? Are they not the ones that build houses every single day?
Yeah.
Should they not know the cost?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trusting they're managing it.
Well, so why are they putting it on you?
It's a great question.
I'm telling you, it's the same thing. It's like me going, hey man, how much is the software? You say, oh, it'll be $500 a month. Cool. Next month they get a $600 bill. What's your customer gonna say?
Why did you raise the price?
That's right. You told me the budget was $500 a month to run your software. Why is it $600? Well, you used a little too much data. Read the fine print.
It's never a good feeling, I'll tell you that.
It isn't, and it isn't in small items like software, and it isn't in huge items like a custom home.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do you think that? Do you ever feel like contractors just want to come out with hey, look, I'm only going to make this. Here's my profit margin, and they like how it kind of breaks it out, or because I know a lot of homeowners sometimes they want to know, well, how much are you making? I mean, how do you respond to that when you've got a fixed price contract?
Well, I always say, hey, listen, we're going to make a profit because we're here in business to run a business.
Yeah.
Okay. What I make doesn't really matter. Just like a lot of people would know what the cost of a car is, but do they go to General Motors and ask them how much money they're making?
No.
No. So why do they want to know? People want to know, right? And if they really knew, they wouldn't hire you. That's the problem. The biggest thing with Cost Plus is that they're giving you fake numbers, cost plus 10%. You run a software with how many builders in it?
It's about 12,000.
Let me ask you a question and put it out there. Does 10% run a company?
Does 10% run a company? No.
No, not even close.
No.
Okay? Now, if you showed any client any more than 10%, would they start worrying about how much money you're making? Of course they would.
Yeah. It's interesting that right there could make them feel like, oh, it's expensive, even though it could be 50% of $2 is not expensive.
I mean,
but,
to most clients, everything is expensive,
Yeah.
right? They want the Taj Mahal, but they don't want you to warranty it.
And I think too the other thing is that we have to remember that it's actually in their best interest that the contractors are making money and that the builder will be here when warranty issues come
100%.
up. And again, it's like if the homeowner is squeezing them on the front end. And it's like, you want the best deal today, right now, but what about, a year from now or 3 years from now when something comes up? Do you want to be able to call your builder or not?
100%. And here's the deal. The price at the end of the day is not the same. You have a fixed price guy putting it all together for you, and at the end result price is the same as the cost plus guy. The cost plus guy is just telling you a low number percentage, but there's a lot of hidden costs in the cost that's going to bring that price up to that same end result. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. So
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
marked up numbers in estimate budget sheets before that percentage. How many times do you see that?
Oh, all the time.
Okay, so it's cost plus transparent.
No, because they've baked in a hidden profit into the cost.
This is a guy that has 10,000 users on there, right? And he's telling you how it works. But hey, I don't blame them. You know why? Because they have to make money.
You know, the problem though when they do that is that now they don't have accurate numbers to look at because they've gone and they've buried this extra, profit in there,
100%.
and then it makes it very hard to actually, when you get in the bills, well, is that what we're expecting to pay, or does that have our little fluff on top?
100%. I mean, so is that transparency?
No, it's
No.
convolution.
So, hey, listen, they got to make money.
Yeah.
They're in business. But clients don't like to see that you're making enough money to run a business,
Yeah.
right? If clients see that, what happens? They don't hire you.
Yeah.
So they're saying cost plus transparency, but they're hiding things and it gets them the job.
Yeah.
Well, just do a fixed price.
Huh?
Just be upfront. Here's the price. So anything else doesn't matter.
So you're now packaging this proven method.
Yep.
That you have, again, spent a lot of time, many years, flushing out.
Yep.
Tell us what is this program that you've put together? What's the opportunity for a builder to come and work with you, and what would that be like?
Well, listen, it's not just me. It's builders understanding that they need a coach.
Yeah.
It's not just about me. They need to know that when it comes to building or any business, you need guidance, or else it's going to take you double the amount of time to get there. And what we offer is that guidance. So builders know, they know 70 to 80% of what they need to do, they just don't do it, right?
Why?
Because they just know any better. They don't have anyone holding them accountable.
There you go.
Accountability is huge. So, for example, if I'm training a builder and I said, hey, how did you quote this thing? Well, I showed my client the numbers. And I said, why did you show them the numbers? We talked about this. Now look what happens. Are you getting the job? No, they walked away. Well, there you go, right? The less you show a client, the better the experience. I know that sounds odd.
I mean, honestly, though, again, it's keep it simple, right? It's if you give me a bunch of numbers, huge, spreadsheet with all this data, like I'm gonna get lost in one place or another.
You're putting the client to work.
Yeah.
How about this? Hey, client, cost plus, you pay all the bills. Well, you just hired yourself a new admin for your business, which is the client.
Yeah.
And then they're looking at a bunch of numbers, a bunch of invoices they know nothing about, and they're paying it.
So
or
now
they're questioning it.
Am I going to now also go start sourcing materials? And
A lot of them do. That's a different model. Whereas hey, cost plus a fee, I charge you 80 grand, you pay the bills, you pay me 80 grand. That means you're looking at everything, you're sourcing everything, you're responsible for getting it here. Which is crazy about that. If you let the client manage your job site, it's going to take 3 times longer. So that 80 grand or 100 grand management fee that you charged the client now comes out to maybe a $30,000 profit on a $3 million job, which how the hell are you going to warranty that job?
No, you're not.
You're not.
How are you going to stay in business? You're not.
Never mind, right? 5 years down the road, hey, my house sunk. Okay, well, go find a builder to fix it because that one, it's not around anymore.
Probably shouldn't have cut out all the piers.
100%, And a lot of clients might be watching this video and go, hey, listen, oh yeah, that's a lot of money you guys charge. It's not. It's the money that it takes to stay afloat, to make sure that builder survives, so that when you need help and you have to fix your home because something happened, they're there. Right?
So again, as a builder, am I going to have the opportunity to work directly with you, with your coaches?
I don't let anyone coach. I do the coaching.
Okay.
You work directly with me.
Okay.
You have 3 options. You can go on a do-it-yourself where you can ask questions on our platform and watch videos. That's for the guy, that doesn't want to spend too much money on it and just wants to watch the videos. Option number 2, you can join our group coaching, which is very engaging. A lot of questions get asked there. You can ask a lot of questions. We solve your problems right there and then. And I teach lessons from marketing, sales, systems, and mindset.
Okay.
And then if you really want to step it up, we got a one-on-one with me. I don't have many spots on that because it's me coaching, and I don't have all day to coach people because obviously I'm building homes as well.
Yep.
And but it's a very intense kind of deep dive into your business, right?
Okay. So is this is it recommended that I that I start with the videos and work my way into the group coaching and then ultimately go to the one-on-one, or is it
I think the group coaching is the way to go.
Yeah.
I think the videos for those guys that are like, maybe, you know what, I don't have $9,000 USD to spend on the group coaching, which is 56 lessons with me all year long, 1 hour a week.
Yeah.
You know, I only have this much money to get going because I just started my business. Well, then go for that. Do it yourself. You still get to watch the calls. You just don't get to ask questions or be part of solving your problems.
I mean, I think the other thing that really can't be missed here is just being part of a community and being around others who are going through similar challenges. They're working through things I think when you have those facilitated group meetings, you get to learn from more than just you. It's everyone who's kind of going through that same thing, and being able to share these strategies and these tactics and what's working, what's not. I mean, that is also invaluable opportunity to learn and to grow.
There's a huge value of being part of a community. And a lot of guys will do better when they're sitting around people that are doing the same thing. And it gets a little competitive, right? So imagine this. They always say, you're the average of your top 10 friends, right? Or top 5 friends sometimes they say. Why? Because you're in that circle and you want to do what they're doing. And if they built a house, you want to build a house.
Yeah.
If they open up a business, you want to open up a business. When you're in a community setting, talking to all these builders and trades that are doing the same thing as you, you start to engage with them, you ask questions, you help each other out, and you start to find out how they do things, you learn from them. All of a sudden, you're doing this exactly same thing as they were doing.
Yeah.
And you elevate your company, from 0 to 100 in no time.
100%.
Now, if you're standing alone, trying to figure it out, are you going to learn as fast?
Oh, no. I mean, I see so many people who they feel like, they're the only ones that understand what they're going through. They're, they say, it's lonely at the top. They don't feel like they can confide in others, and ultimately they get burned out.
100%. Because it's a lonely world out there.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling you what to do. And when you come up with an issue, who's going to help you with it?
Yeah.
And who's going to coach you through it and make sure that doesn't happen again?
I think a lot of people also end up have a little bit of a sense of I think they know that they're not always, doing as good as they could. They have this kind of this self-doubt, this, they got some head trash that leads them to not, price their jobs correctly, to not build, the detailed budgets that they need, and I think that can in turn become a little bit of an embarrassment to them, opening up and sharing and being vulnerable. I mean, how do you kind of help break people out of their shell when they're kind of stuck in that rut, and it's like they know that they're not doing it right, they want to do it right, but they're still scared.
Because when you're in a group setting, you see the results, and you just open up and you go, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
As simple as that. I don't have to help them break through. They break through by themselves by watching everyone else in their group do the thing and do it so well that you have no choice than to want to do the same thing, right?
I think the other day you're showing me, you're walking me through the detailed SOPs that you have put together, and giving people these resources that they could spend a year or two trying to replicate and figure out, and even at that, they're not battle tested. They're just coming up with things on the fly. I see you giving so much to your clients.
We're trying to make the industry better, right? We're trying to make it an even playing field where everyone has to elevate to a good standard.
Yeah.
That way, the construction industry gets even a better name. Because it is hard, but then there's also a lot of people that don't do a good job, right? So what I'm doing, actually, this is really cool. We spent 9 months building all these SOPs, detail by detail, how to use job thread, how to put your hours in, how to look at the budget, how to run an admin, even an EA SOPs on there. I have an EA, executive assistant, all that's there, all the playbook. My videographers right here, they know exactly what to do because they read all the SOPs. So we have that, and we bundle it all into one package, and you're going to have it available for download on our website soon. And not only that, but it comes with an implementer, which you don't have to write your SOPs and put them in there into the system. And we have a software that I told you about that's going to be part of this, where you're going to have it literally bundled up in a package, ready to go.
Man, that's incredible.
How long has it taken you to do SOPs?
A long time.
Yeah. So what if now a builder can come and download the SOPs, do a little bit of fine tuning to their liking? You know, they don't even have to do it. We have a person that does it for you, and we give you the software that you should be running.
Yeah. No, it sounds incredible, man.
Pretty crazy, right?
So let me ask you this: is your, you guys have been just crushing it on Instagram, on social, the videos. I mean, like, is that also included in there?
It's all included. It's the playbook of what to look for.
Yeah.
Dave, is it included?
Yep.
It's all there. It's all the secrets are there of that.
Yeah.
We've grown on Instagram. We're about to hit 100,000. Actually, by the time we put this video, we will have 100,000 followers, right? And we have it all in there on how to do this.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
So I think one of the neatest things, and Felipe, you and I have known each other for a long time now, and
yeah,
I think we both share that passion to help others, because again, this life isn't just about us. Like, I mean, we've both had very successful careers. We've got great teams in place. They're able to to keep our businesses growing. But man, it's like, what does somebody do in their free time? How does somebody genuinely go above and beyond to help others? That to me is so important. And I love seeing how you have just time and time again over the years show up and you show up for your clients, you show up for the community, you show up for other builders, you show up for strangers.
I do.
And you'll give them free advice,
Yeah.
you'll help them, and it's for the greater good. It's for this industry. Like, we need more people like you, more role models, more people who will truly live this new standard that I think we all have the potential, but some people just need that extra nudge. They need that guide, that person who has been in their shoes and can show them the way. And I'm excited that you have created Versa Methods Coaching here to help other businesses, because so many people have that potential. They just need somebody to help them unlock it.
You know what? There's one thing I learned. I was born naked, and I'm leaving naked. Nothing that I've gained, whether it's the Lambo, whether it's the home, nothing I gained I'm taking with me, except for one thing: memories.
Yeah.
Memories, and understanding that you made a difference before you left.
Yeah.
So that is a key thing for me by doing this. I teach a lot of people, I help them out for that reason. If you want to be rich, help others be rich.
Yeah.
And I don't mean by money, but I mean by be rich in what you provided in this world before you leave, if that makes sense.
100%.
Yeah.
It's interesting how, when you focus on putting out, great work, putting out just good energy, good vibes, helping others, like it's incredible how this universe just seems to, it all comes back around, and
It
I think the positive energies, it attracts others, it attracts goodness, and you're right, man, this life is too short.
You told me your story, and then one good deed turned into this multi-million-dollar software, which is this. You had a guy come in, they had issues with their finances, their budgets were crap, some of them were doing work at your house, you're like, there's got to be a better way, right? And you came up with a software that was strictly focused at first with budgeting, because budget was the issue.
Yeah.
And then look what the universe gave you back.
Yeah.
Right? That's not, I'm smart. That's you creating good energy, putting it out there, and then you get back.
100%, man.
Right? I'm a big believer in that. You get what you put out. Simple as that.
Well, look, this has been really exciting, man. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate what you're doing and how you're showing up for others. Really, it means a lot to me.
It goes both ways, bro.
It means a lot to this community, man. Like the job trade community. I mean, you show up every year. You're at Connect. You're here at our Seattle regional workshop. You're presenting. You're sharing. You're giving, to others. And I want to say thank you. I
want to say thank you, because you've done the same for me. Without your software, without your creation that you've made, my business would have never gotten to where it is. And it's true. How many builders do you know that are thriving without softwares and things that you put in place?
Yeah. Well,
not many, right? So, thank you very much, my friend.
Yes, sir. It's been a pleasure.
All right, you too.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Builder Stories. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and gained valuable insights that can help you in your journey along the way. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave us a review. And as always, if you or someone you know has a story to share, please contact us at builderstories.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Eric Fortenberry, and remember, every builder has a unique story. Keep building yours.